Hello folks, this is for fundamentals of algebra, and I'll be going through um, dividing decimal numbers, so division in decimals. So I'll first start with an example. So if you have a decimal number divided by a whole number, like for example you have 219.2 and divided by, let's say, 8. In this case, you apply the same procedure that we applied when we divide two whole numbers. So 8 goes into 21 twice, so it's 16. Then we subtract, we got 5. Then we just pull 9 down. 59, 8 goes into 59 many times? 7 times. 7 times 8, 56. Subtract, we got 3. Then pull this 2 down. 32, 8 goes into 32 4 times. 4 times 8, 32, and we get no remainder. That's the first example. And the main point is this: when you do this division, the quotient and the dividend, they should have same decimal places. So we have one decimal place in both, one in the dividend, so it will be same for that one. So this division will be 27.4. So if you want to write it down, it's like 219.2 divided by 8 is 27.4. This is it's one example. I can show you another one. For example, take 0.6, and let's say you divide this one by 4. So you skip 0, 4 goes into 6 once. Then I have 4. Subtract, you got 2. Still we have a remainder. You can continue, because for a decimal number you can insert zeros after the decimal point. I can insert a 0. Now 4 goes into 60. 4 goes into 20 now here. 5 times. 5 times 4, 20. And then we got 0 left. So, and again, it should have the same decimal places. I have 2 decimal places on the dividend, so it's going to be same for that one. So it's 1, 2, so it's going to be 0.15. So this is the quotient, and you divide these two numbers. So 0.6 divided by 4 will give you 0.15. So those are the first two examples. So this is how you do it when you have a decimal number divided by a whole number. Now let's move on to the next type. What if you have a decimal number divided by another decimal number? For example, look at this. You have 258.8 divided by 2.8. In this case, there's a simple, nice way to change the divisor into a whole number. You can move the decimal point for each number to the right or left as many times as you like, but you have to keep it the same number. So I move this decimal point 1 to the right to make it a whole number. You do the same thing for that one. Move to the right. So actually this division is same as dividing 2588 by 28. They have the same quotient. They have the same result. Same quotient. So instead of doing first one, you can do the second one. You can do this every time. So 20, we have 2580. 80. Oh, I'm sorry. This should be a 3. A mistake on that one. Should be a 3. Copied wrong. Should be a 3. So that's the division. 3 divided by 28. So 28 is not going to 25, but 28 goes into 258 9 times. You can check 28 times 9. 72 carry the 7, and we got 252. We're not using calculator, so that's why we just do all this by hand. So 252, drag that 1, 0, 0, we got 6. Pull that 3 down, we have 63. 28 goes into, so it was 9. 28 goes into 63 twice. You can check like 28 times 2. It's just 6, and then carry 1. 4, 2 times 2, 4 plus 1. 5, it's 56. So 56, let's subtract that 1. You can just see, borrow 1 digit, so that's going to be 5, and that's going to be 13. So we got 7. Now, as usual, we can continue with the point zeros until we come up with no remainder. But of course, in these problems, sometimes these digits may not end. I'll show you how to solve those problems as well. But for this one, it will stop. So 28 goes into 70 again twice. 56. We've got here 10 and here 6. I borrow 1. It's going to be 14. Add 1 more 0. Goes down 140. So 28 goes into 140. You can check that's like 5 times. 5 times 8 is 0. Carry 4. So it's like 14. So 140 and 5 times, you got 0. So you see we have now the 2 decimal places here, 2 decimal places in here, so it will be same for that. So the answer will be, so it's the answer will be 92.25. Okay, that's how we do that one. Now what if you have something in which it does not kind of like it does not stop. Like for example, let me move that one and just take another one. Like for example, let's say, look at this example. It says divide 50 divided by 3, and then round the answer to the nearest tenth. So 50, you will see something really interesting in this case. 50 divided by 3. So 3 goes into 5 once. 3, you got 20. Now 3 goes into 26 times. We got 18. Subtract, you got 2. If you insert it into 0, I'll give you 20 again. So it's 6 times 3, 18. Again 2. Here's 0. 0 down. So it will continue in this manner. Like you will have another 6, and then 18. You got 2, and so on. It just goes in this manner. What you do in this case is, folks, like we stopped in here, so it has 2 decimals. It's going to be right in here. And this will continue in that manner as well. So you can write 50 divided by 3 is 16.666 and so on. And it says rounded to the nearest tenth. We round this digit by looking at the previous next one, which is greater than 5. So this will round to, this rounds to 16.7. And I want to say this, there's a nice way to write this as a notation. We write 16.6 with a bar, the top of 6. That shows that that digit 6 is repeating. So that's one. And then the next example, let's go through like different examples. The next examples, when you have, for example, if you divide any decimal number, like for example 0.68 divided by 10, if you divide by multiples of 10, that decimal point, so your number is becoming smaller, and you look at the number of zeros. According to that one, you move the decimal point to the left. So that's like 1 0, it will go 1 to the left. So the answer will be 0.068. Or for example, let's say you have negative 362.13 divided by 100. So in this case, this decimal point moved to the left like 2 small places. So the answer will be negative 3.6213. This is what we have. And then another problem. So the question is now about variables. It says the example is x divided by y. Find this one for x equals 0.035 and then y equals 0.02. So you see you're doing this you're doing this division 0.035 divided by 0.02. Again, the same argument, you need to make the divisor a whole number. So you move 1, 2 to the right, and that will go 1, 2 to the right. So this division is actually dividing 3.5 by 2. So let's do that one. 3.5 divided by 2. So 2 goes into 3 once. We got 2 and 1, and then we got 5, and then 2 goes into 15. 7 times 2 is 14. We got 1, and I can insert a 0 here. The 0 down. So 2 goes into 10. 5 times 10, so we got 0. You have 2 decimal places now in here. 2 decimal places, so it's going to be 1.75. So that's going to be equal to, so this division is equal to 1.75. That's how we do that division. And then there's one more problem that I want to cover. One more problem. There's so they have we have one more problem. One bag of fertilizer covers, it says one bag of fertilizer covers an area of 1,250 square feet. Okay, when you use this for land, and it says the question is this: how many bags do we need for an area of 14,800 square feet? So the point is this: we have 14,800 divided by 1,250. This is how you will find the number of bags that's needed. So the last zeros can be ignored. It's kind of like you're dividing both numbers by 10. So we will divide 1,480 by 125. So 125 goes into 148 once. Because multiples of 125, you can multiply 125 by 2. That's going to be 250. So we can just use that one. 250 is like if you multiply by 2. So if you multiply by 4, that's going to give you 500. Once we got 125, subtract that one. We have 3, we have 2, and then we got 230. So 2 times 125 is 250, so still it's like ones. 1 times 125, 125, we subtract that one. You got here 2, and then here 10. Subtract that, you got 5, and then 0 and 1. So we insert another 0 and go with 1050. It's really easy to check. Like 125 times 4 will be double of 250, which is going to be 500. And 125 times 8 will be double of this one, which is going to be 1000. We can just check that. easily. So you multiply that by 8, it's going to give you 1000. You subtract, you got 50. Insert another 0, write it down. So 500, 125 goes into 500 4 times. It's going to be 500 as 0. So we got the answer like 2 decimal places, it's 11.84. But you see, we cannot have 11.84 is the answer, but we cannot have 11.84 bags. So actually we round this up, so we need 12 bags of fertilizer to cover this land. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.